And I after I did it, I hadn't checked the settings and it was on an hour instead because I use the 15 minute, and I
Mm,
looked and thought, well, the time frame probably doesn't matter. It's the pattern. And
mm,
then I've looked at that, and just looking at what you were saying tonight, Hayden, about those little ranges, and then having a move that goes outside the range and then reverses back the other way. That's sort of what that's done, isn't it?
Mm.
From what I just looked at then, and I only looked at it for a second, and I just went, ah, right, yeah, I can sort of see that. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what you think, Hayden, about it.
Um,
You probably haven't had a look yet, but I just got back into town, so.
where is it?
So
Um,
I think, Brett, that you got far more places, far better places to look for trap plays than all time something at all time highs. I think there's just too many conflicting psychologies. There's some people going, "Oh my God, it's going to the moon," and some people really worried about the correction. And I think it's hard to like if you're looking at a breakout of a trend line very very clear within a very known range with lots of points of reference. That's a really great place to look for a trap because you can be certain that it's occurred the way you think. But at all time highs where it is, I think that's
yeah,
difficult.
no, and that's fair enough. And the reality about it is that I wasn't even thinking about it being an all-time high.
Mm.
So that's interesting in itself, sort of realizing the state of the market. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, and
Mm.
also I've actually been even noting the time within the session that a trap closed or occurred because if you're expecting the same buyers or sellers to get out, I mean a lot of them will have an automated break even, of course, but when is the trap forming? And in this case, your second point you outlined was the very very end of the New York session, and I'm like, is that really when people are going to be jumping in for a big buy? Probably not.
Yeah, and I hadn't even thought of that. So
Mm.
I think there's a fair bit of refinement to be done on that. Um, and all I've done is just gone and look at that gross level pattern with three or four legs, and then
Mm. Mm.
price going back the other way, and picking up that trap. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but it's sort of,
it certainly failed to make higher highs and all that. There's no doubt about that. But did it do it in such a way that it was so convincing that people thought, oh, it's definitely going for another high. I didn't feel that at all. I was like, it's already created double tops. It's already, I didn't see anything compelling enough to think that that would be compelling for others.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's really good feedback. I mean, and um, I'm trying to be really objective about it and just look at pattern, uh, and not bring too much other stuff in. So
Well,
and
that's a
just see
funny
how.
thing. It's funny how you say that because, in a way, I think you've got to be both. You've got to think logically, but you've also got to think very emotionally, as any other human would. Why? If I look at it and I go, "Whoa, look at that," then maybe that's what other people feel, causing them to jump into a buy or a sell. So in a way, it is very much about the emotional engagement, but looking at it in a systematic, logical way. So it's funny. Um, it's
Yeah. So
all about what people feel when they decide to
yeah.
jump into stuff.
Well, my sort of really limited view on it is that I just need to take the candles um, as the reflection of people's emotion. That's sort of where my
Sure.
head's at with that. So
Mm.
and if I start putting other stuff in, at least at this early stage, then I'm not being consistent with the approach, which is like pretty simple. But I mean, just picking up on that pattern there and looking at it, and then picking up on your comments, I'm thinking, yeah, righto. So that specific pattern is not ideal, and it may well be that because it's at at the very top there, that's that's complicating matters, because that's an unusual market, isn't it? You know, it's at the top. It's not what we're
Yeah, there's you're looking
not
for
what we normally trade.
you're
Yeah,
looking for areas and charts that are largely predictable. They have a predictable pattern, a particular frame of reference, and I think that it's difficult.
yeah, yeah. So I really appreciate that feedback. That's great. That's brilliant.
Sure. I just posted a link to a new spreadsheet. This is like spreadsheet number 3, where I've tried to refine it more and actually clearly categorize. There's 4 different sheets pertaining to the different types of traps, and then very clear categories for me to assess and to annotate my trades. There's only a couple in there, but the ones I've had recently have been almost all very successful, apart from me getting involved and fiddling with them, which is still a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's the trick.
We'll hand over to Haydos, but that link's there for anyone who wants to take a peek at my new structure of my spreadsheet to track my trap stuff.
Awesome, man. Thanks for that.
What are you looking at trading, Hayden? Gold and those.
Kind of got my eye on all of them, but also German. I quite like the German structure setup. Being that was the one that was most bullish. So I'm gonna wait and see what the news comes out as. I'm gonna try to pick up the pieces. So I want to be very careful of any revisions as well, because we don't you guys remember my thesis earlier regarding that if it's high, then inflation is, because we've got low numbers in March, but it's not just it's not PPI, producer price, it's we've got unemployment as well, which kind of sucks. But if we get a high read in this, I'm going to initially look for sells on gold and equities. If it's a real clear surprise, like a big high number, then I'm looking for it just. There's a white arrow there. I'm looking for it to basically just sort of go down, a little pullback, and then push down. If it's a low number, as in still a little bit higher than expectations, I'm actually going to look and wait for what price does, and I'd like to sell from an area that is quite high up here, just like what CPI did, how it like shot down, came all the way back up, and then shot down again. On gold is so NAS a little bit tricky, because NAS we're sort of at where London opened, so we're kind of in the middle of 2 zones. Gold, we have it's right in the middle, so all these red zones I'm kind of seeing as like, more like buy side liquidity up here, sell side liquidity. Now for German was the one that was most bullish, except for now, it's kind of annoying, the last little bit we've come down again. I've actually got a sell limit around about here, a sell limit, and I'd be looking for the take profit is around here, but I've also going to entertain buys as well. If it's a low number, not too low, and we just shoot down immediately, then I would look for a reaction from here to push back up and then into the sell. If it's under expectations and it comes in like really low, then I'll have to switch and look for buys. So kind of need to wait and see, and I also want to pay attention if these numbers. So at the moment we've only got one revision, which was the last one was revised down lower. I want to see if there's any other extra revisions here, and then same here. We've got not the last one, but January, December, and November was all revised. lower. So no, one was higher, one was lower. So I want to see if this changes at all. Then to play around with things, we're going to have to see what retail sales comes in, because that's really annoying to have that at the same time. Nice if it was staggered, some at 12:30, some at 3 o'clock, or 2 o'clock rather. And then unemployment, I'm kind of hoping that they just stick. Let's play devil's advocate, and if we get a high unemployment and a low PPI, I might just straight buy and look for 30 pips. 30, 50 pips. So I would have to see. I have to see. What are you thinking?
I just think that German's the only one that's in a clear place of extremity. You know, it's so high. The others are kind of within, as you said, in the middle of a spot, so you can't quite see it.
Yeah.
Going directly from one zone to another, it's going to have to find its path. But German, at least, is sort of so high that it could just drop.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? We're going to have to duplicate. It's going to be interesting though. I'm looking forward to this. Everyone got their gamble accounts ready?
I'm leaning towards a sell on gold.
That's my thoughts, Eddie.
You know what I mean? Just the structure, the way the 30's looking, and the 1 hour. If you know, if we can come down to that 58 to 55 level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it wants to push down to pick up a bit more liquidity before it can push up again.
Come back and bounce off support there.
Yeah,
But I'm only thinking to there, so not
2160.
could 2158, like going off the 4 hour
Yeah, okay.
support
Yeah.
there.
I've mapped tons of poise in that area. There's heaps and heaps of liquidity down there. Because the other liquidity area pool is up right up around 2184 area. So if it's got to go for liquidity somewhere, it'll be closer to go down. There's more of it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go keep it on the 30 minute here, bigger picture for gold. German, God, we know where we are. I'm going to keep on the 15, maybe even go the 5. NAS, I want to keep bigger picture, because German, there's nothing to the left. There's nothing here to the left, so we know we just go, like, we know where the relevant ones are here. Could probably zoom out a little bit. Keep an eye on the old New York. But if we're failing breaking above, I would like to trade. Yeah, gosh. By the time if it shoots down, shoots up, and then that I'll have a pretty good understanding. The news will be out for a while then. See if there's any sneaky news that hasn't been reported at the same time, and then remember take that. NAS is sort of really just waiting. Gold looks like it's sort of moving early. So we've got COMEX open in 2.5 minutes. So see if that has any sort of impact. I wanted to talk about very quickly something to add on to this little move here on German this morning. The way I read it now, looking at it as well, I was talking about this bit, this like these three little institutional candles, three little pigs, all sitting here. Now we don't see it all the time, but same as this move here. Okay, do you reckon from a trap mentality, do you reckon that there's any merit that if this was an institutional move, was that it was institutional, kind of created that little move and then price pushed up and that got people interested, looking for it to keep on going, but then they bought, slowly unwound those trades, and then price just like, maybe it was just them that was in this market and it created a little bit of volatility, then came down and that could be the trap there, that it started getting people thinking that they was going to sell down lower, so it started getting people into these sells, and it was simply that little move that they bought here slowly unwound, so they're able to still profit from this little move, and then they just bought again from the same area.
So what's your rationale around convincing sellers at that point?
Well, maybe there's not a huge motion for them to sell as well, like to convince them, but just like if they're the only people that are trading and they've pumped a little bit of liquidity into the market, and it started pushing price up, and then it was people trading the open, then buying, and then this led to stop losses building up, or buyers being trapped inside of here, and then they go into a little bit of drawdown as well. So like it's just introducing, they invested a little bit of capital funds to push price up, and then as price came down, they were able to sort of take some of their profits and then when it came to the same zone again, they were able to like double dip.
Yeah, and I think would it be logical also that the same institutions caused that clean bearish candle to the left to form as well, dropped like a stone, and then pulls it back up to the same zone, and they buy to push it back above it?
It could just be them. That was them closing out,
manipulating it down, then manipulating it up.
Oh, this could be closing out.
To the far left.
Oh,
the very first candle. No, the very
this one
first
here.
drop. Yeah.
Oh, that was the open candle. So yeah, potentially, as soon as they open, that could have been like little sell into the buy, and then
Well, it just looks like too much of a manipulation. Like, why would it just drop like that? Maybe it's the same institution selling at the same point as they're buying to push it through.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is manipulation there. So I was just interested in that if this is the area that, how I said, like this zone is of interest to me now, and then how if that was where they bought from originally, they're holding some of their position, and then prices pushed up and that sort of faded out a little bit, and just created a little bit more selling liquidity into the market that they bought again. Because they probably put a little bit here and then it just rose too much, and they're like, we can't fill all of our position, so let's just unwind it and make it look like it's fading out. Then it comes back to their position again, sort of bounces around, and there's no volume today, so they've had to slowly build that position in, and then they're able to push it up, invest a little bit more in again. So I reckon there's prime for, if this is the reason I say that, if this is all sort of institutional sort of just price manipulation behavior, then for New York session there will have to be some sell side liquidity sitting underneath here. So if the news comes out and say it's like going to be geared positive to equities, then I would say that this, if it moves down cleanly without liquidity grab from the top side, then I'd say that this is going to have this London low is going to be a reaction zone. So I would like to see it sort of react and then maybe take out the highs and then drop off, or go up and then down, whatever. But I've seen the way that this behavior played out, I see this as a reaction zone.
Interesting analysis. It's cool.
Just because didn't seem like there was really anything. It was a pretty slow session, which is understandable. But with a slow session now, maybe it's just showing a little bit more clues into where the institutions were playing and placing some orders. Which could be a raid zone. We'll see. Time will tell. It's 6.5 minutes. Is Raja streaming? Is he going to do buy stop, sell stop, straddle trade on this?
I'm not sure. I don't think he's on. I just remembered when we were online earlier and we were looking at the daily. The daily on gold could be like a possible little bull flag forming. Little triangle up the top.
Okay.
Yeah, could be.
Because you put your lines on it, it lines up nicely. Like on the 4 hour, like it does look like a bull flag. And we are bullish as hell, so.
Oops, sorry, mate.
That's right. I just remembered, I'm thinking, I better not forget that. You know what I mean? That I'm thinking. But I'm just thinking, like I said to you, like maybe that 58, 60 level. And then it could just bounce off there.
Oh, look, German's coming up again. It's good. Good. Okay, so financial juice. Oh, no worries, Tom.
I'm at work this week, Hayden, hence no German in the afternoon.
Ah. You finished work for the day now?
Yeah. Yes. 8:30 here now. Yeah, 8:30 here now.
Yeah. Okay, come on. Getting excited.
You're excited because you feel like you know what to do. We're just nervous.
Oh, well, news is crazy. Looking forward to seeing some fast candles. I want to see German buy to sell. We'll have to see what the news is going to come out as. All going to be related. I think Dow's just too much of a beast. Too scared of that volatility. I was talking to this one of my friend's wives. She both of them when I was in Australia. So he's the COO of Citibank, and his wife is she's an investment banker for this Japanese bank, but works in Australia. And we're just chatting about like equities and investing and stuff, and like how that kind of like they can't trade, they can't have anything to do with it because of their clientele. But then she as well was really interesting because she was talking about like how Brisbane Airport was doing they were doing a renovation, so they need to pull together funds, so they were going to that bank to get some liquidity from them, and how they would have to generate it by manipulating the market, buying bonds, and then like just raising capital from the markets. Super interesting to hear some of the ways that they trade. She couldn't really talk about too much in detail, which is unfortunate. I have to slowly pull that information from her.
But then you drop the truth drug into her cocktail.
Yeah.
You will now tell me about the indices.
How are you doing it? How are you manipulating the market? Because they had to raise. So they had like, I think they said they had like 2 weeks to raise 500 million for these.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Did they look behind the couch?
Huh?
Did they look behind the couch or the fridge?
And then she was asking about like, both of them were saying like, so what are we like more trading? I'm saying like, oh, like NAS and gold, and then they were like, oof. They kind of like shocked. They're thinking, geez, like they are just completely adverse to volatility like this because they can't maneuver fast. So like they're in the bonds mostly, bonds, and obviously when they've got to translate it to Aussie dollars, they've got to pull it from other places. So like investment outside, like who's going to pay for these renovations? And it would be, you know, private investors thinking that they're going to get a good return and lend this money for a return, paying back interest. And okay, we're good to go in 30 seconds. I've got news up on the side here, and it's just, you can't see it, but have it on you if you've got a second screen. Have like Financial Juice or Forex Factory. No, there's like a 20-second delay, but we'll see price move first before the news comes out. And just remember, we've got PPI, retail sales, and unemployment, so it can be quite a mixed bag here.
German drop.
Yep. German drop. Gold's dropping. NAS is dropping. So it looks like maybe initially inflation came in high, which was kind of expected. Unemployment came in low, 209 versus 218, which is on average. So there's no, that's a neutral announcement. Come on, come in, because I want to see this push up high and then see that PPI is high. Retail sales came in at 0.3%, so that's under expectations, but it can be quite a lot of swings. PPI is high, really high. 0.6, let me just bring it over here, you can see. PPI 0.6 and core PPI 0.3, so that's a really high read. So any sells from above price, jump into. I'm going to look for a quick little scalp if price drops underneath the London low for a long. But I'm ultimately, like that's a super scalp. I'm really just looking for sells from above London high.
On all of them, potentially. They're all going to do the same thing.
Yes.
When?
Yeah. That'll lead to... So it's pretty much retail sales, not great. That's bad for US dollar. Unemployment came in pretty much neutral, but then PPI is high. So I'm just looking to see... Looks like German's stuck here. I think it actually is stuck. Oh no, it's moving. NAS is dropping.
Come on, gold. I'm in gold.
German's literally dead. The one I wanted to like move the most is dead.
NAS is having a nice little push.
NAS is dropping, yeah.
Oh man, why is this? This
Come on,
is
gold.
really annoying. These
Here we go.
times.
NAS, Jesus. Gold. Nice sell.
Did you sell that before the news, Eddie?
No. When the news came out, pushed down, break the low, I entered, and then on that pullback, I entered again once it started coming back down again.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 positions on.
I'd like to see what NYSE does now when they absorb this news. So I'm going to set an alert above all the London highs, and whenever that hits, gold's probably a little bit less likely, but German and NAS, if NYSE comes in and there's a big push up, I'd like to sell that. Now, what about revisions? Were there any revisions? That could change things. Core PPI, no revisions. PPI, no revisions. So yeah, this looks like it's high PPI. So that's, maybe they're going to push back. If this pushes back inflation, the drop, because they've got the Fed meeting next week, that could push them maybe even pricing out June cut.
Germans pretty much shrugged off the news.
Yeah, German did nothing. That's really disappointing. So you should never look forward to things. If you never look forward to things, you never get let down.
So much for your sell limit.
Could just be delayed reaction as well. Wait till more volume hits the market. This is really bothering me. No matter what I do, this session is not holding. Every time I've changed it so many times. Because it skews my London session lows when it does that. Okay, so I might give gold a sell. See if we can fill this wick and then push down into the take profit zone. Willing to hold a little bit of drawdown on gold if it pulls back a bit more. Oh, now German's dropping. Yeah, looks like a bit more of a delayed reaction on German. So I think with this news, I'm only looking for sells the rest of the day. Just don't want to necessarily sell when we get in. Like, I'm happy to take it from here. When I'm looking at this now, a little, and again, don't quite like this whole area of selling close to it. But I'd like to see price pushed into this pink zone, and then same with these areas. I don't want to entertain sells here. I want to see like a good pullback. Or finally like seeing some momentum to the downside. But I'm only targeting sells now with that PPI read. And whilst I'm staying bullish on equities and gold, I'm just looking for this read just to, like on the 4-hour chart, just having like another pullback, a bit of a pullback into these zones. Not looking, I don't think this is going to break structure or anything. Just looking for it to not break out to the upside with that read. What was that? Well, bit of a fizzer. Okay, at least gold's pulling back a bit. So I'm still keen on this sell.
I thought you were still in sales.
Yeah, no, I'm still keen on selling it.
Hmm.
I was hoping it was just going to push down lower, so I was happy to hold a bit of drawdown, but 20, 30 pips is too much.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at this zone to sell from. Either that, or if it starts like creating that resistance and then breaking lows, then looking for wick fill. So I might not even get up into this little area, but if we start like rejecting these zones, like I don't mind this as a bit of London highs as well. Well, a lot of the time, it's not even the bias that's important. Sorry, it's not even, yeah, it's not like, as in, are you bullish or are you bearish? It's just, are you at least something? Like, be bullish or be bearish, and then see what's your entry.
So it's been a pretty muted reaction across the board, right?
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing. I was really hoping to see some fast candles flying around. Like pushing, like getting wicks into some like really nice areas, but it's kind of, I think they're widely expecting it to be high, and now I was thinking that with a reading that high, I thought there would probably be a bit more of a reaction from like fast candles, but everyone was expecting it to. I think it was because everyone was sort of expecting the year on year to come in higher. I was hoping that would have a bit more of a pullback to take the London high and then drop. Whereas it didn't really do that. It kind of just was like a slug, wasn't it? Let's see if we can start breaking this low. I guess NYSE is going to be the next. There's a bit of a delayed reaction to all this, but this is looking at least decent now. Because remember, this is CPI, this candle. PPIs, kind of look at the moment, it's a bit similar. Only thing is this high swept up, like it was really nice drop from the reaction from the news, and so we got the reaction, then it did the sweep for liquidity, and then it grabbed that liquidity, had a nice extra drop lower. Where this one, I guess it lines up a little bit over here. It'd be easier, I think, if it did sweep and then was back down to this area. Then we just see it drop into this pink zone. So it's not as clear as it could be. How are the others going? Germans, yeah, Nas not doing anything still. Cool, gold it is. Is anyone in anything? You guys trading? Observing?
Watching. I just find it hard to trade in the middle of zones.
Yeah, putting like where your entry is, it's always going to be pretty far. In the middle of the zone, your take profit's always more normal distance away, but it's your stop losses. That's like if you're willing to like add in and go low risk, that's what I'd recommend. Is like practice your idea, go super low risk. Don't barely use any leverage, but then plan where it is that you don't want price to hit, and that's like obviously your stop loss, your true stop loss. But then the others could just be like scale in positions. As long as you're not like maximizing your leverage, you just understand there's going to be this intra-zone volatility. We just need some momentum.
All I can see for gold was that it just took the euro high, just touched the euro high. That was it. It was the only.
Yeah, the 30-minute looks pretty nice because you've got like all of these little areas here, and then you've got like little fake out. So it's just come up and retested that.
I'm still holding. A little bit of drawdown before, but.
Come on. If this candle can close like this, then you'd have to think Wickfield to the downside. There was a high test bar before the highest one, but not a true rejection candle. 1 minute look rejection looks good. You're talking about this one, eh, Tom? That guy. Yeah. The worst days are the when it's just going against your bias constantly. It's just like dragging up for a whole session. They're the worst days. But I find if you've got like a bias in mind, it's actually pretty calming the way to trade. I don't think these low time frames are all that scary.
And on the 15, where is it? I think it's here. There's your. Let me clear that.
Is that your trend line, the diagonal one?
No, that's the 50 MA.
Maybe we're rejecting this little bit right here. This liquidity candle.
I see this as a little order block. That's what broke the structure there. Retested it. Because that was me exit here.
I gotta head off. I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, mate. Bright and early for London Open.
Indeed.
See ya. Come on, gold. So nearly closed. 3 more minutes. This hour candle. You'd think there's still some more momentum to the downside. Just targeting the 60s. Should be a little fast move as well, if we're watching. When we finally get under here, yeah, there we go. Give me a fast one. Come on. Under this wick, just a little flash. There we go. Drop, come on. This is the low of that wick, that liquidity wick to the left, the 15-minute one. So just breaking that, there's a lovely little zone right here. Come on.
You looking to buy off there, Hayden?
No. This is the take profit for the
Right.
sells. There we go. Come on. I'm only looking for sells with that PPI. So close. So close to the little alert. So I don't like where it closed. Yeah. Now's the volatility. This could be the move now. Closing above here again. Above this candle. It's going to be a nasty one.
Hopefully that was the pullback. Filled most of the fair value gap on the 30.
Hmm. If that was the pullback and we're breaking under here, then I think it could be 2150 incoming. Okay, make or break time now. Make or break. Oh man, this is torture.
Slow grind, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna
DXY still pushing.
I'm gonna
Right at the previous 30.
I'm gonna secure. That'll make a drop. So I can't watch this anymore at open risk. So there we are.
You made it bounce when you closed there.
Coincidence. That should make a drop now. Adding some buying volume into it, buying back the position. Now we can just dump. I'll see you, Adelaide. Yeah, it needs to pick up some pace. Otherwise, we're getting dangerously close to NYSE. German dropping, NAS dropping. Yeah, man. Sell. Who's in other trades for sells? So see how how the structure is like a pullback. Like this is German was pretty annoying. How it just hesitated for so long. But everything's selling off.
Similar to gold, pulled back, filled that fair value gap.
This
on the journey.
candle, yeah.
The wick up.
Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna dump. Always does it, man. Always. As soon as these are the times that I should just go make some lunch. Just not look at it. Just let it be in the gods. But I was a little bit over risked with the gold. That I was uncomfortable enough to just let it go. I think I got myself worked up, thinking that was going to be a bit of a fast move, and then taking a little loss in here when I entered about here, and I was going to hold it. I was going to say like, oh, I'm pretty happy to hold drawdown, but then I looked at it was actually a bit further away than I thought, so I was like 50 pips. I can't do that. I can't hold that much. So it's better to exited like when price is like here, which is 25 pips I think I ended up losing, and then jump back in over here when this one was closing bearish, when I was saying like I might even get up to that highs, but I doubled the risk, which I'm not sure if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but it worked out, made back. And then this is where I was getting a little bit hesitant, because I was in profit and like this was coming back, and I was like, geez, do I want to end? Because London session was pretty decent with NAS, even though I gave it a little bit back in German. But anyway, it's reduced back down to normal risks of capitalized, closed. So this one is still, yeah, we'll see if it can get the target. But I'm pretty keen for sells. I just don't want to. I'm always cautious when we roll over NYSE. That's always super tricky. So I'm still going to hold these alerts here. It was a bit of a higher PPI than I was. I wanted it to be just a little bit high, because I thought we then could have that push up and then down. With it being so strong, I wonder if it's just going to be a straight drop. But it makes sense for a correction now, with inflation coming high, unemployment fairly neutral, standard on average, and retail sales coming in a little bit lower than expected, but nothing too drastic. So sales make sense. So I'm just still keen for NYSE, especially a London close as well. I wouldn't mind taking a London close trade if we can be having any sort of like pullback. I don't want to trade middle of New York range. I do want to see it closer to the highs and like extend the London high, the New York high a little bit for that sell. Any questions? Yeah, I think it was painful to watch that. Just grinding slowly. Oh well. All right, I'm gonna go. No, I think you're pointing to a different one to me. Oh, okay, sure. That's off here. Yeah, no worries, Paul. Cool. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go move around a little bit. I'm gonna wait for after NYSE that initial dust settles, but I'm pretty much gonna just hold my selling bias if you're gonna trade later on. But you know, don't take my word for it. Trade your plan your trade, plan your levels. We should get double-sided volatility regardless. So you can easily get a good winning long trade. So don't let my bias dictate anything. But me personally, I'm just saying I'm looking for sells. I think they're going to be an easier move, but we'll see. All right. Well, take care, guys. I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Hayden.